I was sitting in virtual limbo for a bit.
We're live. Great. Thanks, everybody. I'd like to get your attention that we will call the meeting to order of the April 17th City of Dauphin Council meeting at 5 p.m. And before we get started, just like to acknowledge that the land on which we gather is Treaty 2 land, traditional territory of Anishinaabe, Cree, Oji-Cree, Assiniboine, Dakota, and Dene peoples, and homeland of the Métis Nation. And we affirm our commitment to moving forward in partnership with Indigenous communities in a spirit of collaboration and reconciliation. So having said that, I'd like to welcome everyone here live and Councillor Bellemare, who's joining us virtually. And also live, obviously, as opposed to some kind of AI person. So we'll jump right into the meeting, and moved by Deputy Mayor Laughlin, seconded by Councillor Daly. Be resolved that the regular council meeting agenda be amended as follows. We have a couple of additions. Additions in the community events section. So 5A, Part 6, Canada's National Green Festival, Dauphin Ag Society, Parkland Chamber of Commerce, Canada's National Green Festival, and Dauphin's Country Fest will be discussed. And in item 9E, Dauphin District Allied Arts Council, land ownership authorization for an arts, culture, and sport and community grant. Those are the additions. We have the motion. Any comments from anyone? Call for the question. All those in favor, please indicate. Anyone opposed? Seeing none. Carried. Thank you. And moved by Councillor Ray, seconded by Deputy Mayor Laughlin. Be it resolved that council accepts the regular council meeting agenda as amended. I'm going to assume that that motion also will carry. All those in favor, yes. And moving right along, moved by Councillor Daly, seconded by Councillor Ray. Be it resolved that council waives the reading and accepts and approves as circulated the minutes of the following meetings: the regular council meeting dated March 27th, 2023, and our special council meeting that was held on March the 30th of 2023. Any questions or comments related to that? Seeing none, call for the question. All those in favor? Anyone opposed? Seeing none, that also is carried. Thank you. We'll move to the consent agenda, and we have a number of items listed here. So we have a number of action items related to different proclamations. And so to share the load, we're going to have various council members read the various proclamations. So I'll start with Earth Day, and that's Councillor Sobering.
Thank you, Mayor Bosiak. Proclamation. Whereas Earth Day was first celebrated on April 22nd, 1970 to inspire an appreciation of the natural world through conservation and protection. And whereas Earth Day marks a renewed commitment to environmental stewardship and to the implementation of efforts to improve, protect, and enhance the environment. And whereas climate change represents the greatest challenge to the future of humanity and the life support systems that make our world habitable. And whereas with urban areas set to become home to 2/3 of the world population by 2050, and as climate change is being observed and experienced at an increasingly local level, cities find themselves at the front line of the battle against climate change. And whereas municipal governments have a firsthand understanding of community needs and are capable of greater agility to take swift, concrete measures with effects that ripple well beyond local spheres. And whereas as we face mounting environmental challenges, it'll be our towns and cities that take a leading role in the fight for a more sustainable world. Now, therefore, we, the Council of the City of Dauphin, do hereby proclaim April 22nd, 2023 as Earth Day, and encourage municipalities to be proactive and to take bold steps to be part of the ecological transition that will create a healthier environment for our citizens. Dated at the City of Dauphin, Province of Manitoba, the 17th day of April, 2023.
Thank you, Councillor Sobering. I'd like to move to the second proclamation, the National Day of Mourning. I'd like to call on Councillor Ray for that, please.
Thank you, Mayor Bosiak. Whereas on April 28th, Canada will observe the National Day of Mourning, which commemorates workers who've been killed, injured, or suffered illness due to workplace hazards and incidents. And whereas in December 1990, Parliament passed the Workers' Mourning Day Act, and April 28th was officially recognized as a National Day of Mourning. And whereas since its inception, the observance has spread to over 80 countries around the world, commonly referred to as Workers' Memorial Day. And whereas workers and employees observe this day in various ways, including lighting candles, donning ribbons, wearing black armbands, and observing moments of silence. And whereas the purpose of the National Day of Mourning is to remember and honor those lives lost or injured, and to renew the commitment to improve health and safety in the workplace to prevent further deaths, injuries, and diseases from work. Now, therefore, we, the Council of the City of Dauphin, do hereby proclaim April 28th, 2023 as National Day of Mourning. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Ray. I'd like to move to the third proclamation, which is Workplace Safety and Health Week. I'd like to call on Councillor Daly for that, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Proclamation, whereas Safety and Health Week is an annual invitation led by the Canadian Society of Safety Engineering, together with the Canadian Centre for Occupational Health and Safety, Employment and Social Development Canada, and Threads of Life, and in association with the American Society of Safety Professionals. And whereas the goal of Safety and Health Week is to focus employers, employees, partners, and the general public on the importance of preventing injury and illness in the workplace, at home, and in the community. And whereas Safety and Health Week also strives to raise awareness of the role and contribution of safety and health professionals. Now, therefore, we, the Council of the City of Dauphin, do hereby proclaim May 1st to May 6th, 2023, as Workplace Safety and Health Week, dated at the City of Dauphin in the province of Manitoba, this 17th day of April, 2023.
Thank you for that, Councillor Daly. And I'd like to get the final proclamation today, read by Deputy Mayor Loughlin, Communities in Bloom Week.
Thank you. Whereas in Canada, we are fortunate to have a multitude of communities committed to fostering civic pride, environmental responsibility, and beautification. And whereas communities are committed to ensuring sustainable development for future generations, and whereas participation in Communities in Bloom builds communities, strengthens volunteer and community development, enhances social interaction, and creates community pride. And whereas the benefits provided by Communities in Bloom may boost the economy, create sustainability, enhance property values, attract new business, and increase tourism. And whereas our parks, open spaces, green spaces, and trails ensure sustainability, provide space to enjoy nature, help maintain clean air and water, and preserve plant and animal wildlife. And whereas all community levels, municipal, residential, commercial, and institutional, work together to ensure the voluntary sector and private enterprise throughout the country participate in the planning, development, and operation of recreation and parks programs, services, and facilities. And whereas Communities in Bloom proclaims that the week of May 1st has been designated as Communities in Bloom Week, which will annually recognize and celebrate the benefits derived from Communities in Bloom and the countless volunteers and individuals who make our communities great places to live. Now, therefore, we, the Council of the City of Dauphin, do hereby proclaim the week of May 1st, 2023 as Communities in Bloom Week.
Thank you very much, Deputy Mayor Loughlin. So those are the four resolutions and proclamations that were presented to us. I'd like to move to item number 5 in the consent agenda, outstanding water accounts added to taxes. We had 3 separate accounts. Roll number 007730 in the amount of $294.78. Tenant did not pay their final bill. Roll number 0378100, $296.31. Also, no payment of the final bill. And on roll number 0226600, in the amount of $367.63, the current tenant did not pay the utility bill, but there cannot be a disconnect as it is a duplex with only one curb stop, leaving a total of $958.72, and this is recommended by the Director of Finance and the utility clerk. Item number 6, a number of community events. Whereas Manitoba Liquor and Lotteries allows municipalities to declare certain events as community events, be it resolved that council recognizes the following events as such designated community events. That's the Canada's National Ukraine Festival Kickoff Party on June the 10th, Dauphin's Agricultural Society Fair from June 30th to July the 2nd, the Parkland Chamber of Commerce Annual Street Fair being held on August the 3rd, Canada's National Ukraine Festival Parade on August the 5th, and Dauphin's Country Fest June 29th to July the 2nd. We have a number of filing items that were included, and just note, I know that there's a great number of these, but several of the items listed in a number of these are significantly important, I think, to activities and other occurrences currently happening in our city as well as others. So after I read through these, if there's any comments or questions by any members of council, I'll certainly allow any follow-up comment if there's anything of particular import or that you'd like to highlight. So from the Association of Manitoba Municipalities, we had the Parkland Director's Update, which listed some significant information related to us, and 2 news bulletins, March 31st and April the 14th. We had a number of member advisories regarding district elections for AMM board positions, a cybersecurity audit service, the June 2023 district resolutions, a meet with your AMM executive video possibility, a webinar related to Manitoba Agriculture, the MASC service centers, and the media advisory regarding the RCMP and their retroactive salary costs and the implications for the city. So those are all items from the AMM. We had a number of items from the FCM, the Federation of Canadian Municipalities. The director's report from our rep, Marvin Plett, from March 2023. Information regarding the annual conference and trade show. The FCM Connect from March 28th, April 4th, April 12th, and April 14th. The FCM Voice from March 27th, April 3rd, April 11th. The FCM Marketplace from March 27th, and the FCM Communique from March the 31st. There was a news release from Manitoba Health in regards to the boost in surgical care staffing and some of the moves the provincial government is making to decrease wait times in regarding to the health services. The recycling rebate provided by the Minister of Environment and Climate. Our 2022 audited financial statement template from Municipal Relations. Some information from the Manitoba or from the Mountain View School Division, including their April 10th news digest and their 2023 engagement survey regarding their strategic plan. We got the Prairie Mountain Health Plus newsletter for April, the Manitoba Emergency Management quarterly newsletter for the spring 2023, and notice from the Department of Canadian Heritage regarding a Celebrate Canada funding application that the city submitted. So those are all recommended by the mayor and city manager. I just, again, wanted to allow the floor. Anybody from council, if there's any comments you'd like to make, please indicate. Seeing none. Sorry, Councillor Bellemare. Sorry about that. Floor is yours.
Okay, I just wanted to mention the recycling rebate because the...
You're muted, Kathy.
No, I'm not muted. You can't hear me? No. You can't
We
hear
can't
me?
hear you. So I don't know if you can go off and then come back on like we did last time to see.
Okay, all right, I'll try that.
Sometimes that helps.
Okay.
We also had a comment if the microphone level is down on your computer. Justin is on his way.
Technical support is amazing here at City Hall. I think Justin was at home watching sports news and then just popped right back in. Councillor Bellemare, do you want to give it a try now and see if anything happens?
Can you hear us now, Councillor Bellemare? And can we hear you?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, there you are.
Can't you? Okay. All right.
All right, so the floor is yours. Go ahead, Councillor Bellemare.
Okay, I just wanted to make a comment on the recycling rebate because we received I see there's two of me there. We received a check from the government on that. So the more we recycle, the more money we get back from the province because there's a volume kind of thing. And then there's a money taken off the amount of money we get back from the province if people throw the wrong stuff in recycling. So just a reminder to recycle and to recycle in the right bins and the right stuff, and it's all good. So just thought I'd point that out.
Thank you, Councillor Bellemare. Any other councillors want to make any comments regarding anything in those various reports? Seeing none, I'd like to make the motion moved by moved by Deputy Mayor Laughlin, seconded by Councillor Daly. Be it resolved that all items listed in red under item 5 our consent agenda be approved and form part of these minutes. Call for the question. All those in favor, please indicate. Anyone opposed? Seeing none, call that carried. Thank you. Moved by Councillor Ray, seconded by Deputy Mayor Laughlin. Be it resolved that Council accepts as information the following corporate report for the April 17th meeting, and this is from our city manager. Charlotte, did you want to highlight any of the any things in your report for us, please?
Certainly. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It seemed like March was a month for meetings, and I think that from the provincial and the federal government standpoint, that's a year-end, fiscal year-end for them. So I think there was a lot of things that that were coming out from that. I also did have a few days off. A few highlights here. We had a governance and pre-planning session beginning of March with HMC management. The mayor, council, and senior managers got in a room and talked about a whole bunch of governance things and moving forward and whatnot. So we had a good evening during that process and had some good discussions. Senior management later discussed the session at our management meeting, and we wanted to, I guess, convey to council that we did find value in it, in the information and also in the discussions and getting together. We also wanted to let council know that we are planning to implement a few of the changes to our processes, including a more detailed multi-year department budget planning, which will feed into the entire municipality's budget, streamlining the council meeting agendas by scrutinizing the content of the consent agenda a little bit more, exploring alternate methods of revenue, adding to our senior management meeting more regular reporting and updating regarding capital and large projects, and working more closely with our strategic plan. Another, I think, a highlight of March, which culminated in a signing agreement or signing ceremony last Friday, was working on the municipal development and services agreement with our partners at Pine Creek and Ebb and Flow. So a lot of work went into it by myself, as well as the Director of Public Works and Operations and the Economic Development Manager, working with our lawyer to get that agreement to the completion stage. So the Municipal Development and Services Agreement speaks to the services that the city will provide to the First Nation land and the fee that the First Nations will be invoiced for those services. And I think that we all were quite happy and satisfied that the process was complete for us, but this really does not mark the end for our First Nations, but it's just ticks off one of the boxes on their journey to get the land added to reserve. And so they've got a few things coming up, and so to date the land remains status quo within the city, but their First Nations are one step closer to realizing their goals. And the last thing I think I'll talk about is an abuse policy. So, as a new requirement from our insurance provider, Western Financial Group, is to adopt an abuse policy, as well as insisting that organizations that operate from city-owned facilities or are covered by our insurance policy do the same. So the deputy city manager who leads the project and I have met with a few other organizations, and we're working with them to help create their policies. And that ends my report.
Thank you. Is there any questions or comments anyone has regarding the manager's report? Seeing none, call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed? Seeing none, carried. Thank you. Moving along, moved by Councillor Daly, seconded by Councillor Sobring. Be it resolved that Council accepts as information the corporate report for the April 17th meeting from our Deputy City Manager. Lisa, did you want to add any comments or highlights to that report, please?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. March was a very busy month, but I thought maybe I would just highlight the insurance policy renewal for the City of Dauphin. So Western Financial Group works in partnership with the Association of Manitoba Municipalities to provide insurance coverage for municipalities through a shared loss pool model. I administer the city's extensive policy, and there is still much to learn about its features and complexities. The program features opportunities for returns on premiums paid directly to participating members during low claiming years. Under a traditional open market model, accumulated surpluses would go into the pockets of the insurance company rather than the membership. Over $23.2 million has been returned to municipalities since 2010. March is a busy month each year to prepare for our policy renewal on April 1st. And as you can imagine, we have many assets under the city's umbrella that need to be covered in the event of loss. And in preparation for renewal, I review the policy and the comprehensive list of assets to ensure decommissioned assets are removed and new assets are added. So I just thought I would highlight that part of my report.
Thank you very much. Lisa, questions or comments from any members of council? Seeing none, I call for the question. All those in favor, please indicate. Anyone opposed? Seeing none, carried. Thank you. Moved by Councillor Sobring and seconded by Councillor Ray. Be it resolved that the finance accounts, having been examined by council, be hereby authorized and approved as follows. There were 95 checks issued for a total of $514,353.79. There were no voided checks in the current range, and there was one voided check in the past range for $120, and the check was reissued to the legal name of the owner, and that we had 7 electronic payments in the month for a total of $250,770.87. Any questions or comments regarding the financial report? Seeing none, call for the question. In favor? Opposed? Seeing none, carried. Moved by Councillor Sobring and seconded by Deputy Mayor Loughlin. Be it resolved that council accepts as information the following staff engineering report for the April 17th meeting, and that's from our building inspector for the month of March. Any questions or comments regarding that report submitted by our building inspector? Seeing none, call for the question. All those in favor, please indicate. Opposed? None? Thank you. And moved by Councillor Sobring and seconded by Councillor Daly. Be it resolved that council accepts as information the following protective services report for the April 17th meeting, and that's from the bylaw enforcement officer. That's for the months of February and March. Any questions in regards to the bylaw enforcement officer? I'd just like to add that over the last little bit, with me being in City Hall and having a few folks either call City Hall and or my number and or send me a message personally, I've been directing everything, I'm hoping appropriately, to bylaw enforcement, and it seems there's an inordinate amount of work that is done behind the scenes, I think, that sometimes we may not fully appreciate. So I just wanted to commend both Lisa and Conrad for the work that they're doing in this area. Sometimes it might be referred to as the thankless job of the community, but I'm very impressed by what I'm seeing being here, as much as I have been, maybe to the chagrin of Charla when she sees me walk in every day. I'm kidding about that. I'll call for the question. All those in favor of that report, please indicate. Opposed? Seeing none. Carried. Moved by Councillor Sobring, seconded by Councillor Ray. Be it resolved that Council accepts as information minutes from the following committee, and that's the Dauphin Rec Services meeting from March 29th. I'm just wondering if any member of the committee has anything to add to those minutes? Councillor
Just
Ray?
some exciting stuff that's happening this spring, I'll just mention. They started to set up the toddler park at Meadowlark Park. They're also going to be starting the construction soon of the toboggan hill. And the disc golf tee pads and signage are going up as well this spring. So it's nice to see that stuff getting finished up.
Thank you. Anyone else? Councillor Bellemare?
I have a question. I see in that report that there's going to be a pollinator garden that's built at the rec center ground someplace. Is there more information available, like on location and size? And I understand that's with the Riding Mountain Biosphere, I believe.
I can respond, or Ted, did you want to? Was there any details? I just know that when that opportunity was presented to us, we had 3 or 4 locations that we presented back to them, saying that any one of these could or possibly would do it. And so I know that there was a secondary meeting with, I don't know if Councillor Sobring, if you're on that call, or with Lindsay and Ryan, with the Canadian, what's the organization? The organization that's actually doing the funding. The Nature Conservancy of Canada.
Okay.
And so their delegate was talking to our folks, and I guess there was a discussion between them on the best location. So that's the best I can provide, Councillor Bellemare, unless Councillor Ray, do you have any other additional information?
Well, I thought they were looking at the area by the new baseball diamonds, like the soccer fields. There's a piece of property there that they were going to use for that, as far as I know.
Okay. And any further information that comes available, could it be directed to our Communities in Bloom committee, just so we can sort of, do a coordinated kind of approach with that? It's exciting to see that happening.
Yeah, sure. I don't think that's a problem at all.
Thank you.
Well, and actually, there's probably a link back from the other end, because the way I understood it to be left was it was in the hands of DRS and the Nature Conservancy. If they actually got the grant, then that would all be coordinated. So, I'm sure that you would have that direct link. There's, other than opening the door, we have no direction on what's really going on. It's sort of the people that are closest to the action. So, but absolutely, Kathy, or Councillor Bellemare, I think that's absolutely possible.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yep. So, call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Moved by Deputy Mayor Laughlin and seconded by Councillor Ray. Whereas trees, brush, and other vegetation along rail lines can compromise rail and public safety by damaging the integrity of the rail bed, interfering with signals and switches, impeding motorists' view of oncoming trains, and reducing visibility for train crews at road crossings, train control signals, and trackside warning devices. And whereas CN has an obligation pursuant to the rules respecting track safety adopted under the Railway Safety Act to ensure that vegetation on or immediately adjacent to the railway roadbed is controlled, be it resolved that Council accepts as information correspondence dated April 12th from Luann Patterson, Senior System Manager, Environmental Assessment for CN, advising that between April and October 2023, CN will be conducting their annual vegetation control program along the ballast section and right-of-way of their rail lines by utilizing a combination of mechanical and chemical removal methods. Further be resolved that in accordance with CN's vegetation control schedule, CN will be performing vegetation control in and around Dauphin between June 14th and 17th, 2023. Questions or comments regarding this motion? Councillor Bellemare.
First of all, I appreciate the information from CN. It was very clear, and you know, we understand what they're doing and why. So I gather their mechanical equipment will be here, or sorry, their spray equipment will be here during those dates. And then there's that mechanical piece as well, which I think has to happen more than once a year. So my question is the mechanical stuff done locally, or do they bring someone in? And do we anticipate it being more than once for the mechanical part?
Maybe I'll field some of this from experience. We wanted to highlight this because we know it's a pretty big topic in our community. They come through, and from history, they spray in June, and by the time the end of July rolls around, the weeds are high. So we end up going and doing that, and we're not sure if that's always the right thing to do, but CN doesn't seem to be able to help us. In terms of to me, the information that was all that it said that they would be in our area, both doing mechanical and chemical, June 14th to 17th. And then looking at the information, there were some frequently asked questions that talked about what happens with the dried up material after the chemicals have done their work. And the answer was there's not usually much left. And so it's just left there. But I think that we know that doesn't always look that way. We do have, I think, a relatively good relationship with our local CN representative, or we have in the past. And I know that if we do look for some extra maintenance, we contact them through Public Works, and we get some response at least.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments regarding this motion? I think call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Moved by Deputy Mayor Loughlin, seconded by Councillor Daly. Whereas at a special council meeting on October 5th, 2022, council authorized the signing of a development agreement between the City of Dauphin and Church of Christ 204 Inc. for the Parkland Crossing Affordable Housing Project at Lot 2, Plan 42800, which is 220 Whitmore Avenue West, consisting of 4 fourplex housing units. And whereas, in order to register the development agreement as a caveat on this property, the property registry requested that a full, correct legal description be provided in the agreement. Be it resolved that Council accepts as information an amendment to the development agreement between the City of Dauphin and the Dauphin Church of Christ 2004 Inc., specifying a correct legal description of the lands for this housing development, and a memorandum dated April 14th from the Deputy City Manager recommended that the amendment be approved. Further be it resolved that Council agrees with the Deputy City Manager's recommendation and authorizes the amendment to the development agreement between the City and Church of Christ to be signed and sealed by the City Manager on behalf of the City of Dauphin. Any questions or comments from Council regarding this motion? Seeing none, call for the question. All those in favor? Anyone opposed? Seeing none? Thank you. Call it carried. And next motion by Councillor Daly and seconded by Councillor Sobering. Be it resolved that Council accepts as information correspondence dated March 18th from Peter Nadolny from the Watson Arts Centre and from Adrian Luke, President of the Dauphin and District Allied Arts Council, outlining the Dauphin and District Allied Arts Council's projected facility expenses, highlighting escalating maintenance and operation costs, and requesting a 2023 appropriation in the amount of $40,634.99. Further be resolved that Council forwards the Art Council's financial request to 2023 budget deliberations. Questions or comments from any member of Council regarding this motion? None. I'll call for the question. All those in favor? Anyone opposed? Carried. Moved by Councillor Stakilo, seconded by Deputy Mayor Lachlan. Be it resolved that council accepts as information correspondence dated March 21st from Lori Bickelmeyer, coordinator of the Dauphin at Risk Teens Program and Restart Programs, requesting financial support from the city in the amount of $8,500 to assist with the provision of services for high-risk youth and their families in Dauphin and surrounding areas. Further be resolved that council forwards the funding request from the DART and to the City of Dauphin's 2023 budget deliberations for consideration. Questions or comments? Seeing none, call for the question. All those in favor? Anyone opposed? Thank you. Those will both go to the budget deliberations. Moved by Deputy Mayor Lachlan, seconded by Councillor Stakilo. Whereas Dauphin Rec Services is making an application to Manitoba Sport, Culture and Heritage for a grant under the Art, Culture and Sport Community Program for an amount up to $800,000 for the purpose of the development of Mamawee Park. And whereas DRS is a tenant to the City of Dauphin for the purpose of providing rec services, and the organization is expected to continue as a tenant for this purpose for a period of at least 5 years from the expected completion date of the project indicated, be it resolved that Council of the City of Dauphin hereby concurs with and gives consent to the work proposal contained in the application, recognizes the full financial implications from development of the project, and acknowledges that the provincial government will not be held responsible for any further financial assistance other than the grant for which Dauphin Rec Services has applied. Any further comments or questions regarding this? Councillor Bellemare?
I just
No?
want you to put, cross your fingers or do whatever you can do to just put extra good luck behind this.
Well, the province is being fairly generous right now with their $50 million of money in this program. So I would concur that everyone should cross their fingers and dot their I's and the T's and everything else. Call for the question. All those in favor? Anyone opposed? Seeing none, carried. Moved by Councillor Ray, seconded by Councillor Stakilo. Whereas the University of Manitoba Faculty of Social Work makes a Bachelor of Social Work accessible to potential students outside of Winnipeg through an online study program and community-based learning using the cohort method, be it resolved that Council accepts as information correspondence dated April 12th from David Mansell, Supervisor, Addiction Services, Prairie Mountain Health, requesting a letter supporting a proposal to be forwarded to the University of Manitoba Senate Committee on Admissions that advocates for admission criteria changes that would accommodate potential students who may not have the standard academic credentials, but who bring a wealth of experience and maturity to the study of and field of social work. Further be it resolved that Council recognizes the benefit of community-based learning cohorts in providing expanded opportunities for students to grow and learn within the field of social work while staying rooted in their home community, and authorizes a letter supporting the proposal to adjust criteria for the admission of potential students to the Faculty of Social Work to accommodate local students who bring diverse experience and perspectives to this important field of study. Any questions or comments regarding this motion? I'm seeing none. I'd just like to add before we vote that this came in very close to when they needed it. And again, I'd like to accommodate or recognize Lisa and others who worked very hard on our end to gather some background information and prepare this letter of support for this, I think, very beneficial program for people in our region. So hats off again to turning that around very quickly. Call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed? Seeing none? Carried. Thanks very much for that. Moved by Councillor Stakilo, seconded by Councillor Ray. Whereas the Manitoba Arts, Culture and Sport and Community Fund provides grants to support the arts and culture, which includes heritage public libraries and ethnocultural organizations and amateur sports sectors, to enhance Manitobans' opportunities to access quality programming and facilities in their own community. Be it resolved that Council accepts as information correspondence dated April 12th from Kim Armstrong, the Administrator and Program Coordinator at the Dauphin Active Living Center, requesting a letter supporting the Center's application for a Manitoba Arts, Culture and Sport and Community Grant to fund their Heritage Showcase series, which would bring together seniors and new citizens through the making of traditional Ukrainian foods. Further be resolved that council commends the Dauphin Active Living Centre for their effort to promote inclusion, cultural awareness, and community building through their Heritage Showcase series and authorizes a letter of support for this grant program. Questions or comments related to that motion? Seeing none, call for the question. All those in favor? Anyone opposed? Seeing none, carried. Moved by Deputy Mayor Loughlin, seconded by Councillor Daly. Whereas in the transition from brick to concrete sidewalks, the City of Dauphin has accumulated over dozens of pallets of bricks, approximately 110 square feet per pallet. Be it resolved that Council accepts as information a memo dated April 13th from the Director of Finance recommending that the bricks be advertised for sale at a price of $300 per pallet plus taxes, and further be resolved that Council agrees with the Director of Finance's recommendation and approves the advertising and sale of the accumulated sidewalk bricks with the price of $300 per pallet to remain in effect for the full 2023 season. Any follow-up questions or comments from anyone? Seeing none, call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed? None? Carried. Moved by Councillor Stakilo, seconded by Deputy Mayor Loughlin, whereas the Dauphin and District Allied Arts Council is making application to the Manitoba Sport, Culture and Heritage under the grant of Arts, Culture and Sport and Community Program for the amount of up to $17,500 for the purpose of replacing the original wood floors in the main auditorium at the Arts Centre. And whereas the Dauphin and District Allied Arts Council is a tenant of the City of Dauphin's property for the purpose of providing arts, culture, and heritage programming, the organization is expected to continue as a tenant for this purpose for a period of at least 5 years from the expected completion date of this project. Be it resolved that the Council hereby concurs with and gives consent to the work proposal contained in the application, recognizes the full financial implications from the development of the project, and acknowledges that the provincial government will not be held responsible for any further financial assistance other than the grant for which the Dauphin and District Allied Arts Council has applied. Questions or comments from any member of council? Councillor Bellemare.
Okay, so 17,500. Does that cover the materials for the floor and or installation? I saw the grant and I didn't scroll through to see what exactly is covered by that amount.
I think the estimated cost is 35,000, and so they're asking for 50%, which is what the fund would provide.
Okay, thank you.
So I think it covers 35,000 would cover the cost of installation and materials, I believe.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, good. Any other comments or questions? Call for the question then. All those in favor? Anyone opposed? Seeing none? Carried. Moved by Councillor Ray, seconded by Councillor Stakilo. Be it resolved that bylaw 03-2023, being a bylaw of the City of Dauphin, amending bylaw 02-2009 for the regulation and control of traffic and parking, be now read a second time. So this is just regular vote. All those in favor, or any comments, questions? Regular vote. And all those in favor, seeing no one opposed, that one is carried. So now, again, moved by Councillor Stakilo, seconded by Deputy Mayor Loughlin. Be it resolved that bylaw 03-2023, being a bylaw of the City of Dauphin, amending bylaw 02-2009 for the regulation and control of traffic and parking, be now read a third time and be signed and sealed by the mayor and the city manager. This is a recorded vote, so I'll just, since everyone was in favor previously, but I'll just do the roll call. Councillor Sobring, Councillor Loughlin, Deputy Mayor Loughlin, sorry about that. Councillor Stakilo, yes. Councillor Bellemare, yes. Councillor Daly, and Councillor Ray. And I will vote in favor, so a motion is carried. Thank you. And moved by Councillor Loughlin, seconded by Councillor Ray. Be resolved that council now accepts as information the council's reports for the regular council meeting of April 17th, 2023. Where should we start this sort of revolving wheel of intrigue? Oh, everyone is sitting on the edge of their seats. Councillor Bellemare, since you're smiling, how about you?
Okay, sure, I'll go first. Okay, for meetings, I attended the Riding Mountain Biosphere meeting and April 6th, and it's interesting to hear all the projects that this group is organizing and overseeing. And earlier today, I attended a virtual consultation session which focused on a new proposed funding model for libraries organized by the province's Strategic Policy Branch for Public Library Services. And Alison Moss also attended. And they outlined a proposed model for funding libraries that's different from the current. The current one is based on per capita, and of course, some communities are shrinking in size, so there are 19 libraries that would get less funding next year because of that. So the province is looking for ways to address, and they had a proposal, and they listened to us for about an hour and 40 minutes giving feedback. So it was a valuable process. Congratulations to Lisa for writing her 9 hours of exams for accounting. So that's quite a marathon, and I'm sure most of us can't picture doing that. So congratulations on surviving. Other kudos, thank you to the staff doing that municipal services agreement with Pine Creek and Ebb and Flow, brand new process, and you know, it's extra work when you're doing something for the first time. So you got through it and it's in place, and it's, you know, great for everyone involved, and looking forward to the economic opportunities for our community. And one last final kudo for Parkland Crossing. As people know, they opened their first fourplex, and it's beginning to fill a housing gap that's in our community, and there are 3 more fourplexes that they have in their future, and they're lining up funding for that. So hopefully that all goes well. So congratulations to them for stepping up and providing our community with that opportunity. And that concludes my report.
Thank you very much, Councillor Bellemare. Councillor Daly, are you, you'll be up next?
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. I attended the last council meeting, March 27th. And then on March 30th, I worked on follow-up on recommendations from the safety committee meeting we had. All's going well that way. April 3rd to 6th, attended the Spring Association of Manitoba Municipalities Convention in Winnipeg. April 12th, I attended a meeting with the MPs Mazur and Caputo from Kamloops, senior RCMP staff of West District on crime and bail, along with the mayor and city manager. Sorry. Also that evening, I attended the town hall by MP Mazur and Caputo on rural crime and bail reform. There was a decent crowd out, I would say, mostly rural folks. No real solutions offered, just lots of good conversation and some feedback. So based on what I heard from at the AMM and these meetings I had, we're at least getting the acknowledgement that people are finally aware of what's going on. The next step is to be able to get somebody to help us do something about it. So I guess we're taking one bite at a time. Other than that, that's it for me. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Daly. Councillor Ray?
Thank you, Mayor Boziak. March 27th, I attended our last regular council meeting. On the 29th, I attended the Dauphin Rec Committee meeting at the Cup. On the 30th, I attended the special council meeting held here at City Hall. Unfortunately, I was unable to attend the AMM convention due to illness, but I'd also like to send out some congratulations to our local Parkland Viper girls volleyball teams. Our 14U team won their tournament, which had 12 teams attending last weekend, or a week ago. Our 17U team came first in their tournament that they held this past weekend, and we have a upcoming 8-team 15U tournament this weekend. So it's been a busy month for the volleyball girls. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Councillor Ray. Councillor Sticalo?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. For myself, regular council meeting March 27th, and I was able to attend the AMM Spring Convention April 4th and 5th. Attended a a number of breakout sessions, including topics such as enhancing communication skills for municipal leaders, MTIs, service agreements, and capital planning and programming presentation, plenary on leadership principles. Also sat in with the Manitoba Justice on their safety and well-being plan, and I was able to attend the City Caucus lunch meeting with fellow staff and councillors. And that ends my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Stakilo. Deputy Mayor Laughlin.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. For me, on March 27th, I was at the regular council meeting here at City Hall, and then a few days later, the special council meeting here at City Hall as well. April 4th, just one day I was able to get out to the Association of Manitoba Municipalities Spring Convention in Winnipeg. It was a good day, though. As Councillor Stakilo mentioned, good breakout sessions there. Also great to be a part of the City Caucus meeting that day, and the leaders debate earlier that morning as well was very interesting. On April 13th, I attended the RM liaison meeting at the RM office. Again, good discussion there with the rural municipality of Dauphin. And just a couple things to look forward to this week. Just want to mention to people out there to check out the Business Expo this weekend at the Parkland Rec Complex. Over 100 businesses are signed up for that event, so that should be really good. And also looking forward to next week as this council begins its first budget deliberations. So hopefully everyone remains friends after that. And that ends my report.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Laughlin. Councillor Sobering.
Thank you, Mayor Bosiak. I also attended the March 27th regular council meeting, followed by the March 30th special meeting. On April 12th, I attended a Dauphin District Tiny Van meeting where we prepared for the Kinsman Business Expo and Trade Fair, which we'll be in attendance at. On April 12th, I attended the housing engagement session here at City Hall, put on by Urban Systems. It was very well attended by a diverse group. I feel like there was some good topics that we at least discussed. It was good to see lots of people from the contracting side, the land side, and from the finance side in attendance. On April 14th, I was at the ceremony for the signing of the municipal services agreement with the City of Dauphin and Ebb and Flow and Pine Creek First Nations. The April 17th, I attended, which was today, this afternoon, economic development meeting at CIMAR, and listened to a presentation by CEO Mick Lott, and then we had our regular meeting following. This ends my report. Thank you.
Thanks, councillors and Deputy Mayor. I just wanted to highlight a couple of things relative to some of the comments that each of you made, in particular at AMM. So again, another opportunity to get together with colleagues from other cities and municipalities all across the province. And I just want to, again, reemphasize for council and for the public that the issues that we're facing in our community are certainly not just our issues. And in hearing that the discussions from other municipalities on how they're trying to deal with things, it sort of reinforced for me the notion that our approach of trying to engage others to get involved and participate in the process, I think will serve us well as we work through some of these challenging issues. So just to, again, reinforce the notion that we're doing our best as a city, both publicly and behind the scenes to work on some of these things. And in a particular note, in addition to attending the various workshops and planned events for us, we were fortunate enough to have three meetings with four separate ministers. And so we had a meeting with the Minister of Municipal Relations, Andrew Smith, Minister of Justice, Kelvin Gertson, and the Minister of Infrastructure and Tourism, Doyle Panyuk, and I had a meeting on the last day with the Minister of Environment, Kevin Klein, just to talk about projects of specific interest to our community and our provincial government engagement and involvement in them, and to highlight some of our concerns with the province, and just to let them know that we're here. And I'm the new guy, and to just introduce myself to them. So I think that Again, I wanted just to shout out to the ministers involved that they graciously welcomed us, and we had, I think, some fairly open discussion, even though they were fairly short. But I think that that's one of the values of attending events like AMM, and then trying to have some of these discussions where you can talk specifically about concerns of ours and how we can partner and work with the province to address them. I also found it kind of interesting in the positioning that AMM is taking in regards to some of the issues that impact us. And of note is, the position that they're taking along with other provinces and organizations across the country in regards to the retroactive RCMP pay issue, and how that's still an issue that's impacting us. And a resolution hopefully is in the works really soon. But I just wanted, again, to reaffirm that there's things going on locally. We, along with Charla, I attended the Chamber's district event in St. Rose last week or the week before, and met with some of the mayors in Reeves, some other communities, and had a chance to discuss issues of mutual concern. And I would like to, again, reaffirm what Councillor Sobering was talking about in regards to the housing session. Another example of us taking some action on doing what we can do to try and deal with the issues affecting us. So, kudos to economic development for establishing that, getting urban systems to come out and facilitate. It was quite a dispersed and wide-ranging group of people in the room, but I think there was some real constructive discussion, which will hopefully lead to good things for us going forward. And then, to reinforce what Deputy Mayor Laughlin was saying, we had a joint meeting, the liaison meeting with the RM, and I'd just like to reaffirm publicly that, I think our relationship with the RM is strong, and I know that our manager and their CAO are working very closely together, so I think that there's a real good connect staff-wise, and in working through the liaison committee, I think there's tremendous benefit in continuing that relationship, which sort of segues into the signing ceremony on Friday. So as we're trying to develop relationships with our First Nations neighbors and partners, we need to confirm and continue to work on our relationship with the rural municipality as our closest neighbor, and just saying that I think that everything seems to be going in a positive direction. I would like to one final time acknowledge the work of staff. Again, with me being around City Hall quite a bit the last few weeks, and just seeing the effort and diligence that's going into the work on the various files that are in front of us. And I know that the process of drilling down into the budget and working through that is all encompassing right now, but there's so many other things, like just the business of running the city, which is an eye opener for me in the sense of all the work that our staff are doing. So I just want to publicly again state my pleasure in having this amount of competency and just a good working environment here at City Hall. Charla or Mike or any other comments from any of the staff then? If not, I'd like to call for the question. All those in favor of accepting the council reports? Anyone opposed? Seeing none, call that carried. And moved by Councillor Daly. That seconded by Councillor Ray.